Are you struggling with what to get Dad for Father's Day?
Well, we've got lots of kits for you today that can be made up in no time at all.
Keep watching. Hi, it's Donna Robertson.
And John Mossel with Fabric Café.
We got a fun show today.
Oh, we do. I think we've got some great fabrics and we've got some great patterns to show you. So.
And images, lots and lots of images.
Definitely that. Because we know how much y'all love those images that we've been putting up there. So be sure to stay tuned for the whole show today and you'll be able to see all of these images that we've got for you.
All right, well, let's get going.
Let's get going. So our first pattern that we're going to be looking at today is called Sweet Times. And I really love this one because we've got this big block in each one of the motifs throughout this. And then we've broken it up a lot with these two different colors about the sashing around these blocks. So let's go ahead and put that up on the table and let's look at the great fabric that we have for you today on this design or this kit. And I think this is such a fun one because we have so many classic car collectors and even some of the smaller boys that are out there that have their Matchbox car collection. So this would be a great one to be able to just mix it up a little bit and cover all the guys. But hey, I know that a lot of dads out there do love their classic cars. And I know while I'm driving around here in Tyler where we're at, that you see some classic cars going around town and they're just awesome what they've done with the restorations they've done on them and how just gorgeous they just look, and they're just cruising around and you can just tell they're just loving every minute of it.
And what's really fun is that with the classic cars is the way men are drawn to the shows, because we can be going down the road and Bob will say, "There's a car show."
Let's stop. We're going to stop at the car show.
Yeah.
So this is a great one. We've got all these classic cars in here from the 50s and 60s and 70s or 60s that are going to be up here in this main block that we have in here. And then we've got our number 2 fabric, which I love. It brings out the blues and all of these station wagons and these classic cars. And that's going to be in our number 2 position, which is where the red is in all of the kit here. And out here on the border too. And then our number 3 fabric is this really neat red, kind of a grungy red color on that. That's going to be everywhere we see our black and out here on the border and around the sashing on this. So this is a really classic design. So we do have a image for you up on the screen so you can just see what those fabrics are going to look like in that Sweet Times pattern, and it's just a great design on this one.
Well, like you said, the red really brings out the red cars and the blue really brings out the blue cars, and the way that it's bordered. And
then it makes those yellow cars even pop even more.
True, very true.
So this kit is entitled Classic Cruisin, and it's 8023145. It's using that Sweet Times pattern. That's also available in our Easy Peasy book.
Well, next up, we have Pretty Simple, and it is truly pretty simple. It is, you're able to use 2 focus fabrics, which makes it a lot of fun. So we have the 2 focus fabrics, and then they're simply sashed with the 3rd color. Now let's put that up there, and I can remember whenever I designed this one, we were cruising.
Oh, that's great.
Bob and I were on our way to a quilt show, and he's driving. I used to tease him and say he was my chauffeur while I was in the passenger seat with my laptop, and I was designing. And I designed this quilt. And when we stopped, I said, I showed him the quilt, and I said, what should I name this? And he goes, I don't know, and he threw out some stuff, and I threw out some stuff, and then I said, I'll just write the pattern and then decide. And I wrote the pattern, and it was so easy to write that when I got through, I said, well, wow, that was pretty simple, and I went, I'm going to name it Pretty Simple because it's pretty simple to make too. Now, I like this fabric.
I love this fabric.
Isn't that great? And it does cover a lot. It has the lake, it has the fish, it has the canoeing. If you've got an outdoorsy guy in your life, this is going to be perfect.
And I love the fact that it's got the dog in the canoe here.
Oh, yeah, yeah. That is really cool. Okay, so now the number 1 fabric is going to go everywhere you see the animals in this particular quilt. And then I love word fabric. You know how much I like that. And when it comes to lakes, you see all of these signs that say, life is better at the lake, and welcome to my lake home, and stuff like that. So that's going to go in that 2nd one. And then the 3rd one is your 3rd fabric is going to be all of your sashing and your borders. And a really fun thing is that we do live on a lake, and last weekend it was still a little chilly and cool, and Bob came in and he said, where did you put the quilts? And I said, well, it had been warming up, so I rolled them all up and put them in a basket. And he goes, oh. And I said, it's not really all that cool. And he said, well, I want a quilt. I'm going down to the dock to sit and take a nap, and I don't want to be cool. So he got him a quilt, went down to the dock, and sat, even though it wasn't that cool.
That's great.
Okay. Now on the screen, you can see this made up, and you can see exactly what I'm talking about with the double focus going on with this one. And
I think that really turned out great with the words and the alternating blocks and and all of the greens and everything. It's just really a cool design.
yes, it is. And you know, if your guy gets bored, he can always read.
And that is so true.
Yeah.
Now, you will want to hurry on these because we do have a limited number of these kits online, so you don't want to miss out on these. So be sure to jump up there real quick and see what we've got available.
Now the kit information on this one is on Lake Time 8023146. It's the pretty simple pattern from the book Quilt Favorites.
So our next one up is another one of those great double focus designs that we have, and this one's called Lickity Split. And I love this one because we've got two different fabrics in here, and then we've broken it up with this sashing on each side of these blocks. And let's go ahead and put this up on the table and take a look at this a little bit closer. So I think the design that we have here, Lickity Split, is pretty neat because I think this one's made in a little bit different manner than normal.
Well, we do allow, this is tossed fabric, so that's no problem, but whenever I wrote this particular pattern, the birds they're all on a directional fabric,
Right.
a one-way design, and so I wrote the pattern specifically so that you would be able to use a directional fabric. So it's really easy to follow the instructions even if you have the directional, rather than sometimes you turn blocks upside down.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Yeah.
So this is a great one. You know, we drink a lot of coffee around here. You know, we joke about, you know, fabric cafes ran on coffee.
It's definitely a company perk.
It's definitely a company perk. And, you know, we've got one of those great, you know, fancy Italian coffee makers, and we're in there making coffee regularly, except when we're doing videos. We can't do it then. So we'll just have some coffee fabric in here while we're doing that. So we'll have a brief coffee break here while we look at this. So this is, I love these designs on this. We've got all these great little slogans and logos on all these little coffee cups in here, and all of the things that, you know, you would have with your coffee in the morning. And these are just so fun. And they're going to go and live, lav, love coffee.
Oh,
That's
isn't that
great.
fun?
It's coffee time and espresso, and this is just fun.
So
I can just sit here and just savor this fabric for a little bit. So we've got our number one fabric here is going to be where our darker fabric is on this design. And then we have the same color, a different colorway, but same designs on this. Then we've got that second one, and it's going to be here where our lighter fabrics are. And then I just absolutely love this number 3 fabric with all of the coffee beans at the various stages of roasting. And so you can just imagine what each one of these would taste like. Oh, but we're going to actually put them out here on the border and in the sashing on our design. And it's just great because all those browns just make all of the various colors within this fabric really pop. I think it's just a great design. Now we've got an image up for you on the screen, and as you can see, that just looks gorgeous there, and it just makes you want to go run and take a coffee break and get a great cup of coffee. And
I like the way that the coffee beans just surround all of the blocks. That's pretty cool.
that is great.
Yeah. Well, you know, we've been talking a lot about double focus fabric, and we have something really cool on our website. We have a sheet under our free goodie tab that is our 10 favorite double focus patterns. So if you're like us and you love those double focus prints, then you'll want to check that out and download that sheet for free.
So this is awesome kit. It's called Cool Beans, and it's 8023147, and it's using that Lickity Split pattern.
Now, the next one up is Rick Rack, and I really enjoy Rick Rack. I not only enjoy looking at it, but I enjoy designing it because I knew I wanted this. I like a lot of movement in my quilts, and I wanted this movement to go, but whenever you start putting this together, it's a little bit tricky with getting this block whenever you're writing the pattern. But when I get through with it, it's super easy. So let's put that on the table, and we've got this exact fabric to share with you. So whenever you're making the quilt blocks, you actually turn some of the blocks that creates a longer look of the run of the fabric, so that whenever you have your different squares, and you join them together, see how it makes this look longer, but there's actually a separation there. If you'll hand me the cropping tool, I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so the actual block is right here, and it is made in two, you make the same block over again with 2 different color placements. And then whenever you turn this block and put it into the quilt, you get this look like as if you've got these long strips because these are joined.
And I think this is a great example of our strip method that we write with most of our patterns. So that's
Yes.
a really cool design.
Everything is made with strip piecing on this particular one. Now let's look at this gorgeous fabric. And you know what's really fun about this is it looks like batik, but it's actually printed fabric. So it's not actually a
And
batik.
I just love the colors of the blues in this. It's just gorgeous.
It has a different hand than batik, and by that it's just going to feel different than the batiks. The batiks are actually, there's a hot water and wax process that goes on so that you have a much more dense fabric, and this is soft like your regular fabrics that you use whenever you're quilting. So this is our number 1 fabric. It's going to go in the number 1 position. The number 2 is the color that causes all of these other elements to pop. So it really causes the quilt to look gorgeous, and you can see the movement better because of that. So that is our number 2, everywhere in the white spot. And then our accent color, our number 3, is the dark blue going here, and we also used it out in the binding. And this one is called Azure Stars, and the pattern is called Rick Rack, and it is from the book Quick as a Wink. The kit number is 8023061, and an alternate pattern is Trellis.
So this is probably one of my favorite go-to patterns. It's called Checkmate, and I love it because it does have this one width of fabric. It's the full width of fabric there. It's just one big block, and you're talking about really go together fast. And then we've got a real basic 4 patch on this. So let's put this one up on the table, and we're going to look at some great motorcycle fabric. I love how we're getting all of these great fabrics in here for the guys. And
I'm sure you probably have something to do with that.
this will definitely, yeah, I've probably have influenced a number of things around here. But I mean, this is the great fabric that's going to be, a lot of those dads are going to just love. I know I get to ride with a bunch of motorcycle riders here in town, and they've already been eyeballing this fabric that we've got online, and they're wanting to get that for themselves. So.
And you know what? I got to meet Peaches.
Oh, you did?
I did.
That's right.
Because we went to the local quilt shop, and there was Peaches, and she introduced herself to me, and she's one of your motorcycle buddies.
She's one of our road captains. And so,
I thought it was fun. She said, "Hi, I'm Peaches." And I said, "Well, I know who you are." John's talked about you.
So anyway, this is a great fabric here with the motorcycles and in the patriotic theme that they've put in on that silhouette of the motorcycle. And that's going to go everywhere. We've got our big strips in here. So again, that's a full width of fabric there. It doesn't get any easier than that block.
No, it doesn't.
And then we've got this great kind of a gray grunge, almost like a watercolor marbly design on this fabric. That's going to be everywhere that we've got our lighter blocks on our 4 patch, and then these great blue background with the silver stars that again match what we've got here and match with our motorcycle theme that we have here. That's going to be in those darker blue and out here on the border. And I just love this. It's going to be a great design when you get this kit. And we've got an image for you on screen to show you what that's going to look like. And you can just see that sea of motorcycles there. It's just a wonderful design. And all of the stars and the grays all work just really nicely in the 4 patch that we have on that.
I think it's going to go great for our audience, because I bet there's other people out there that are quilters and motorcycle enthusiasts.
definitely.
So if you've got those 2 things in your family, we'd love to hear about it.
Definitely. Just give us a comment down below. So this kit's name and number is Full Throttle, and it's 8023102. And again, that's the Checkmate. And that's also available in our Quilts for Kids book.
Now next up, we have Tic Tac. And Tic Tac is a fun one, and I'll have to give some little extra credit here, because every once in a while my husband will say, "Why don't you do a design like such and such?" And he actually saw a tile floor, and he brought it to me, and he said, "Let me draw you a picture of what I saw," and I thought it'd make a good quilt. So Tic Tac, super simple double focus pattern. Let's put that on the table. And I always tell him, I said, now you give me these ideas, but realize I can't make it exactly like the floor. One time he told me another one, and I went for a long, long time trying to figure out how to do that floor into a quilt, and I never made it. I abandoned it. But this one did live on.
I love how we get our inspiration from so many different things. I mean, we've designed stuff from carpet, tile floors, doors, windows on how, I mean, there's just all kinds of different designs. It's just really fun how we get inspired.
What's really funny is I can see like a carpet and I'll say, oh, that's cool, and I'll take a picture of it or something. And then when I get ready to design, of course, you have to realize that an inspiration and the end result may not inspire anybody's connection.
Exactly.
But I like the quilt when I get through.
So this one's definitely going to inspire some men out there. So.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, when it comes to Bob, he loves his fishing. So we're all excited. We're getting ready to take another trip down to the coast. And when we go down to the coast, he always tells me, please do not overpack because I have to get my rods in there. We've already booked a fishing trip. He is ready to go. But of course, I do get something out of that. If they're really lucky, the whole gang of guys that are going down there, they will fix us dinner when they get home.
Oh, that's
so
awesome.
I like that. Okay, so here's our number one fabric. That's going to go everywhere you see these, so they're alternating. And again, that double focus fabric, we have the lures. Isn't that fun? And this looks like the docks whenever they dock their boat and they've got all the lures out there on the boat dock. And
Or maybe it looks like they forgot to latch their tackle box and picked it up and all the ground.
yeah, well, I'll let them pick
Like,
them up.
that's never happened to any of y'all out there, has it?
Oh, probably not.
Yeah.
Okay, and this is our number two. It's going to go in the alternate block. And then to border that is this great burgundy. And you know, that is really cool because it does pick up the burgundy here and also the tonality of some of the fish. Now, you were naming the fish before. All I know is that these are fish.
Yeah. So, you know, that would be a fun game is to, you know, play Name the Fish, you know, so you got your flounders and your snappers and, you know, all of these guys that are in here. So it's really fun.
Well, they usually don't have heads or scales or anything whenever I point in the counter and tell the butcher to give me that one. Okay, so we have an image on the screen, so you'll want to see how cool this one turned out. Isn't that great? And the fish are swimming all the way around on the outside
That is
edge.
awesome.
Isn't that cool? And I can just see the guys sitting there getting really excited about the schools of fish. Surely there's more than one school of fish in there.
There's a bunch.
Okay, this one is called Cast Off, and it is 8023148. It's Tic Tac pattern from the book Easy Peasy 3-Yard Quilts.
You know, one of the great things about all of these quilts that we're showing you today with the big blocks and different things like that, they go together so fast. I mean, it's just really great.
That is very true. And have you ever made a 3-yard quilt and surprised yourself with how fast you had it finished? If so, give us a comment and tell us what's the fastest you've ever made one of those 3-yard quilts? I'd love to know.
Yeah, and while you're down there in those comments, be sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already subscribed, and also click the little bell so that you get notified the next time we put up another video.
It's Donna Robertson.
And John Nossel with Fabric Cafe. Have an awesome day.